walked through the valleys of the wilderness in time, only to find out that you have love in places I can't describe. Yeah. I need you. It's the sunrise. I just wanted to let you know I love you. Don't ever let go, 'cause the sun don't shine when you're not around mine. And I could never be without saying the sun don't shine, the sun don't shine, the sun don't shine, the sun don't shine without you, without you. The world is space and time, your love is mine. The sun don't shine, the sun don't shine without you, without you. When I saw you rise the other day, I felt my worries just seemed to melt away.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. 212. You're he. Mic check.
I just wanted to let you know I love you. Don't ever
Mic check. Mic check. Testing. Testing. Mic check.
shine when you're not around mine. And I can never be without
Testing. Testing. Mic check. Mic check. You're he. Mic check. You're he. Okay, it don't sound too bad. The playback don't sound too bad. Yes, mic check, mic check, mic check, check.
that you have love in places I can't describe. Yeah. I need you. It's the sunrise.
Okay, yeah, I think we got it working now. I had to use my old mic, right? Because the other one wasn't cutting it anymore. That's a shame. But hey, what's going on, people? How we doing? My day one in the building. What's going on, brother? Infamous in the building. Wicked. Manny in the building. What's going on? I'll put that link out there quick just in case anyone wants to. Well, not anyone, you know. You know. If you know, you know. It's only a mic check. Might throw something on just to pass some time. Fuck it, I'm gonna roll something up. Give me a second, bro. 420 if you got that shit. Let me roll my shit up.
realized the other day I felt our worries just seem to melt away into you, into you, yeah. I just wanted to let you know I love you. Don't ever let go, 'cause the sun don't shine when you're not around mine. And I can never be without you. Oh, yeah. Say the sun don't shine, the sun don't shine, the sun don't shine, the sun don't shine without you, without you. Through all the space and time, your love is mine. The sun don't shine, the sun don't shine without you, without you. No. want you in my life, day after day. My love ain't got no limits, baby. I want you in my life, day after day. My love ain't got no limits, baby. I want you in my life, day after day. My love ain't got no limits, baby. I want you in my life, day after day. My love ain't got no limits, baby. And it's so natural, that love you got for me, baby, I got for you. That's something that you do. You got enough for me, I got enough for you. And I just wanna tell you, every moment that I'm breathing, I need to tell you there's no limits to this love. I know the first time that you touch me, I won't let go, and I won't let nobody stop this feeling. Oh, it feels so good. I want you in my life.
Welcome, welcome. Mic check, mic check. Testing, testing.
I want you in my life, day after day. My love ain't got no limits, baby. I want you in my life, day after day. My love ain't got no limits, baby. I want you in my life, day after day. My love ain't got no limits, baby. 'Cause I need you, want you, got to have your loving, baby, 24 hours a
What's going on, family? What's going on? What's going on? Shadow and light in the building. I see you down there. Much love. Big up. Access in the building. What's popping, Access? How we doing, man? See Dom down there. See everyone down there. Gen 2 gone in the building. How we doing, Jen? What's today? Hold on a second. Today is Wednesday. Wow. Wednesday. I thought today was like Monday, Tuesday. I lost track of the days. Wow. Wow. What's going on, man? What you lot been up to? You getting ready for this eclipse? Huh? You guys getting ready for the eclipse? Don't worry, I got something lined up for you guys. I got something lined up for you guys. Ah, that's why. Thank you, GA. I knew something was up, right? I'm like, how the fuck did it get to Wednesday already? Because it's gone 12 o'clock. What? I looked at my phone and I saw Wednesday. I'm like, wow. I thought today was Tuesday. But it's gone 12 o'clock. Silly me. Silly London. Yo, GA, is that how you're moving? Is that how you're moving? Okay. Mr. Lover. Mr. Lover. Become a Mr. Bombastic. Bomba class. That you're macking, yeah? Alright. Say nothing. Happy days. Yes, sir. Good man. Give her one for me, right? Yes, sir. You guys do. Access is saying, you got me amped up, brother. Good stuff. Good stuff. I hope so. I've been working. I tell you what, Access. I'll give you a little sneak peek, right? Jump up when you're ready. I'll give you a little sneak peek. I'll give you all a sneak peek. I'm working over here, man. Working, trust me. Uh-oh. She won in the building. He's asking, has anyone climbed the tree? Anyone climbed it? Yeah, Squirrel may have. I know Squirrel may have. Ask Squirrel, he definitely has. Squirrel lives in the trees. Where's this film? That squirrel. Call line will be required. Yeah, throw line, yeah. Don't get me started with those lines and throwing lines, mate. I know about all of those tricks. Good old HMP days, huh? Good old HMP days. Hopefully, Small Town Girl comes and joins us sooner than later. I miss Small Town Girl, man. Small Town Girl, where are you? Come out, come out, come out, little white girl. Small Town Girl. Come out, come out, come out, little white girl. Mic check, mic check. We still sounding good? We still crystal clear? Just rolling up my zoo and that, yeah, nah, rolling it up. Yeah, she hit me up maybe what, 2 weeks ago now? About 2 weeks ago, saying that she's just pulling herself back together. She's okay, you know. I think she said something along the lines of respect Squirrel, respect S. Along the lines of hearing my children's voice, you know, gave her some energy. That was nice to hear. That means she got the message. Message received. Message received. Small Town Girl. Message received. Now that feels good. That's some good 420 right there. Big shout out to Chiquita, hosting a wonderful space for open-minded people to come together. Good stuff, Nat. What's going on, Access?
Hey, I'm good to go, London. You got me amped and excited for the new information, man. You had me going since this morning.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been waiting. I'm ready for this.
Let me turn you up a bit on your mic. Mic check, Access.
All right, you coming through loud and clear.
There you are. I just turned you up. There you are.
Awesome. Yeah, brother. I'm amped for this, man. You got me excited.
Good
Tantalized.
Good stuff. That's what I want to hear.
Right on.
Let me get this ready for you. Keep in mind, this is just like a rough copy so far. It's direction where I'm heading, but I want to show you this and possibly do a little build off this as well. Man, I got you up
Straight
here.
up.
Good stuff. I'm gonna mute up real quick. Actually, do I need to mute up? Let me see. Hey, chat room. Let me know if you hear any echo, right, in the chat room. Let me know if I need to mute up. Right. Don't let it play for too long without saying, "Hey, London is echoing." Right. Welcome, it's London Man. In this segment, we will be covering galaxies and the upper room. Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody. Today I will offer you some more evidence of the bigger Earth. As you know, I think that the moon map is the map of the bigger Earth. Recently, I came to the conclusion that the images of the shuttle are actually images of the bigger Earth. I used to think, like all flat earthers, that all NASA images were CGI, so I refused to look at them. So let's take a look at the new evidence, which are the images you are looking at right now. Nothing special, you will think. Think star constellations. Look at the strange light pattern. Now you see the camera is turning because they want to show you something. And off they go, flying around the Earth, which is hard to believe for me that it's not a ball. But for the moment, that's not important. So let's turn this back and see what we can find about this star system. Because I think this star constellation is the Pleiades.
Wow, star constellation on the Earth. This would not be the first time we stumbled across something like this. Let's take a look at one of the previous videos.
Mystery emerges that will take investigators from the deserts of Mars to the birth of one of the greatest civilizations on Earth.
There's an obvious crater in the landscape here in Mexico, but it's not so much the crater that catches my attention, it's what's inside this crater.
This is intriguing because what we're seeing is this white color, and boy, it sure does look like ice.
It's so unusual because we're talking about Mexico, and this white patch stays here all year round.
The mystery white crater is one of a cluster known as the Seven Luminaries, which, when viewed from above, mirror the Ursa Major constellation.
Here you see various pictures of it, but none of them is exactly the same.
This formation not only resembles Pleiades, but looks a lot similar to something else which I came across. Let's have a look. This footage, which was produced by NASA, and this image of the constellation Gemini Bow looks a lot very similar. Once again, here is the pattern that resembles the constellations, But where have we seen this pattern before?
And that is probably because it is filmed from a different angle. Let's take that as our first puzzle piece and see if there is any confirmation in the following pieces. Well, if this is Pleiades, we might take a look at the other constellations in the neighborhood of the Pleiades. So, next to the Pleiades, we have Taurus. Taurus with the V shape, but only one star is visible, and that would be Aldebaran. Next to Taurus, we have Orion. Well, I tried to find the exact location of the stars.
This image of the eye is the globe and orbit. I will use correct terminology. And this diagram right here, I came across when I was looking into the eyes and the galaxy. It almost looks like the quasar. Let's take a look at the full diagram. Bingo. They are telling you this is the star systems, the quasars.
VLT, NACOH and K's band images of SDSSJ0924 plus 0219 after subtraction of the lens galaxy with Galfit. North is to the top, east is to the left.
This happens to be the oldest lens in the world. I'm not sure how they would have used it, but the further you go back in time, the lens was used to see long distances.
Nimrud lens. Despite the name, this ancient piece of crystal may not have been a lens at all. Discovered in 1850 by English archaeologist Austin Henry Laird at the ancient Assyrian palace of Nimrud, in modern-day Iraq, the Nimrud lens is a curious piece of rock crystal dating back to the late 8th century BC. Some people believe that it was the earliest optical lens in history, perhaps an obscure out-of-place artifact. As the Assyrian artifacts often were intricately engraved, Laird suggested that the lens may have been used as a magnifying lens to read these small inscriptions.
I think the true nature of these lenses was to see into the human's eye.
Italian scientist Giovanni Pettinato proposed that the Assyrians used the lens as part of their telescope, which would explain the extensive knowledge of astronomy in the Babylonian civilization.
But not only that, I think they would have to use another instrument to see through the lens in order to see space as we know the solar system. The Hubble telescope was designed as a general purpose observatory meant to explore the universe in the visible, ultraviolet and infrared wavelength. Hypothetically speaking, what if they was using the Hubble telescope to look through the lens and we was using the lens and the Hubble telescope to look through the eye which sees the lens in the eye? You get where I'm going with it. Just imagine the distance you would cover and the color spectrum that is unable to see naked by the human eye. Wow.
A gorgeous supernova whose image you see right there in the middle. And because of the proximity to planet Earth, and because this basically happened during the modern age of astronomy, this essentially became one of the most studied objects out there, observed by various telescopes for practically 4 decades.
We're doing a routine cataract surgery here with a toric lens. We have a Mendez gauge on the eye, which we've lined up to our reference marks, the black dots, and we're using a cystotome here to mark the steep axis, which in this case is about 20 degrees.
But then, in 1987, the unusual detection of neutrinos coming from this region indicated that something very powerful was happening right here, and was very quickly discovered to be a Type II supernova, a collapse of a very giant star, possibly around 18 solar masses in total, that resulted in one of the most beautiful formations we've ever seen anywhere. But there was always one mystery. What exactly was left after this? What's right there in the center? But it just, no matter what the scientists looked at, they couldn't find anything to indicate signs of anything in the center, except for that beautiful expanding ring we're going to discuss in a few minutes. The researchers discovered unusually bright dust clumps very close to the position where the remnant should have been located. And the existence of these unusual dust clumps would be difficult to explain unless there was something really dense in the center collecting all of this dust. Further observations a few years later, specifically in 2021, revealed extremely powerful X-ray emissions coming from the vicinity of this location. And in terms of X-rays, these emissions were extremely similar to beautiful structures we usually refer to as pulsar wind nebula. Here's a time-lapse of a very famous Crab Nebula. And so here the X-ray emissions suggested that this is maybe a very similar object.
I'll leave that right there.
Intense work, brother. Very
Thank you.
intense. I have a few hypotheses that I kind of play with, but I think that there's a consciousness that we might not relate to. That's a part of the reflective nature of what we are in the cosmos and the heavens. I think the luminaries and all the heavenly bodies have a type of life to it. Same as we don't generally look at a tree and see that it's a living organism. We kind of take it for granted. And I think, as far as the Earth goes, they've kept shit hid and they've lied to us for so long that they had the entire world. I mean, completely at disarray to where and what we truly are by nature and the land masses and how they're reflected, because the reflection of the heavens are a reflection of the earth, and that's something I definitely endeavor on, man. I appreciate it.
Respect to that.
Yeah, the where we were talking about the toroidal fields, man. That's a kind of a projection of energy, man, and everything seems to be contained within everything by a reflection, micro, macro, fractal, and consciousness, as we know it. And I believe that the the powers that be, especially after the Church of Rome took control of most of the continents that we know of, that or they allow us to know of. You know, that information, man. I think they buffaloed everybody. You know, all the way from the Inquisition on.
Yeah, I'm agreement with you there.
It seems that they're using, you know, which is obvious, our lack of availability to information that they keep from us, especially information from, you know, we're talking many, the Aztec, the Mayan, I mean, you name it, the Chaldean, all this information was there and carried over and passed on. And for us to be having to bust our asses to discover and see past the lie, you know, that builds a real sense of direction. I mean, it feeds me to go further.
Welcome to the panel, Manny.
Hello, mate. You all right?
Yeah,
Can you
let
hear
me
me
turn you up
okay?
a little. Yeah, I'm gonna turn you up.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Makes a difference from turning me on. Boom, boom. Sorry, that was cheap.
What's happening? How you doing?
Good evening. Yeah, I'm
Good
okay,
evening.
thank you. Thanks for letting me on. I watched your latest AI Holy AI book again, and I noticed I didn't know if you'd seen it, but there's the like X-ray picture of the brain, and it's red, and you've got the like what's it called, the spinal cord coming down. I don't know if you've noticed it, but when you look at that picture, from the spinal cord up to the sort of bottom of the brain as it goes up, that looked to me like a parrot. I didn't know if you'd noticed it. I know you see images within things as well, but I didn't know if you'd seen that, like the image of the brain. I don't know what the name of it is. As it comes down from the brain into the spinal cord, it just looks like a parrot to me.
Okay.
Another thing.
Where was that on? Was that on the documentary?
On your London Holy AI book, the last one you've done.
Okay.
I've got a funny feeling it's like the thumbnail for it. I don't know. There's basically the human skull with the brain. It's like an X-ray, and you've got as it's like red. Basically, it's red. As it comes down, I just saw it. I was like, there's it looks like a parrot from the bottom of the brain as it goes into the spinal cord. I don't know what the what the medical term for that is, but I was like, there's another bird.
Okay.
There it is. But the other thing is, when just a moment ago you said about infrared, and I broke the word down. I was like, then Ra being like the sun god or whatnot, and the red, the color red is a very powerful color, isn't it? And I was thinking, what's the INF bit? The INF bit for the Ra, the red Ra, or the Ra red. There's something within that word. I don't know. I know I overanalyze stuff and see stuff, but I was like, I'd never noticed that before. The Inf Ra red. I was just like, oh, there's something there. Sorry if I've gone off track a little bit, but
yeah, that's good.
Just know, you know what I'm like. I just noticed these things, and I was like, oh, what is that? What is that? What is that? There's something within it. It's all connected, I know. But if you are able to find that picture,
Yeah, we can. We just found it actually. Where was it? It was that one. This one.
That one there. Yeah, look. From the spinal cord up, you got like a little parrot there. With a tail and the wing, eyes and a nose, a beak, sorry. Right in the middle, as it goes down, from where the pineal gland is, I guess, down into the spinal cord, there's a little bird there. Do you see that?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I do. I see his eye. I see it. Yeah. See the thing.
Beak
Yeah.
and the little wings.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you'd noticed that, because I know you notice these things, but I was like, ooh, there's another birdie. Bizarre. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good, man. You're good stuff.
Yeah, man. Knowledge and information, brother. Keep expanding. You know, push the boundaries. Don't settle for what they feed you.
Exactly. That's what I like. I try to hold fast that I'm not happy.
Man.
I'm not happy with what they give us. No matter what it is, like I don't watch the mainstream news or the mainstream or TV or any of those things. But when those occasions do, and they pop up something, and they're trying to like the 88% or the 90% of the people that just lap it up and like, oh yeah, hey, look at that. For me, I'm instantly like trying to work out how it's bollocks. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long to be able to sort of filter out the BS, as it were, because it's just so stupid and rubbish and crap that it's quite easy to see where it fails. But even then, when you show people look, can't you see it? It's blatantly obvious. They just don't want to know, do they?
Well, brother, I tell you, I don't accept what they deliver us as a construct, or I don't take their information to heart as being factual, because if you have just a bit of an open mind and you approach it just like London is doing with his work, you start breaking it down, man, and it's obvious. We've been lied
that you're on a globe. London, I heard you were doing a mic check up here. Have you heard of my man Gleek? He does the best bad microphones.
Oh,
he's the one that did my Colonel Sanders.
What is that in your hand?
That's one of my boy Gleek. He makes the best bad microphones. I don't want this. Why would I pay money for this? I fucking love it.
What is that? That's mashed
What's
potato.
your t-shirt say, Tommy?
This is crap. Why would I pay money for this? I fucking love it.
What's your t-shirt say, Tommy?
That's my Trigun shirt. Yeah, I just had it made. I heard you in the back. I heard your old catchphrase, like I wish I had a triple gun, a Trigun. I had your old catchphrase made into a meme shirt. Axis, you're up here spreading that same falsity, untruthitude, the deception that your daddy from down under says. Like, yes, London is seeing through his due diligence, through his actual discernment of studying what is true and not relying on the feels of him and his audience, that now he knows he's on a globe. And so all this stuff I hear in this community about, I like what you said there. Ooh, say that again. That was pleasing to my ear hole and my cog dis. That's not truth. Truth is most likely going to be the thing a lot of you don't want to hear, like Christ is king in your case.
Well, won't you give it a break, Tommy, man? I'm an
Oh,
individual.
no, I did give it a break, and you forgot you're on the rebuttal bar. You came down there in that chat when I was minding my own business. You said you wanted some. I came up here for you.
Hey, man, you dropped an insult, and you know what? You fucking snitched me out in real life.
I did snitch you out. I have no contract with you to not snitch you out when you wreck my DDS contract. You did it. He did a DDS strike on my router that caused me a fucking. You don't know if I use my internet connection for an income. You don't know if I have a grandmother on dialysis machines needed to hook up to Johns Hopkins hospital. You're a selfish fucking Satanist. We ain't cool. Your daughter's band sucks. Your son's a murderer.
You know,
Easy,
the fact that
easy.
you dragged my children into this, you done crossed the line a second
you
time.
brought your children. I've only said I've only spoken truth today. Well, your daughter's band is an opinion. I like Venus's style of kicking a trash can full of broken glass down the stairs. I like the sound of that too. So that was opinion what I said about your daughter's band.
You know, London, I'm not going to dignify this. Thanks for having me up. You keep the trash around. Garbage in, garbage out, Tommy. Right? I'll be seeing you real fucking soon, brother.
What?
Me and you gonna play.
Why? You want us to watch the first time I executed you? You think you want some more? And then you are on watch now by YouTube and probably your internet provider. Because, guys, all these criminals, don't listen to Paul Unslaved and all these criminals that want to say, I can wreck you and do you wrong, and if you narc me out, that's on you. You're disarmed. No, I never made an agreement with Axis that if he does a DDS strike on my router, I'm not going to report that to my internet provider when I have to go through the inconvenience of reinforcing my security.
What is a DBS strike?
It's like this thing that the gamers and the 4chaners and the low-end hackers do where your router just gets they give so many hits. It's like how PlayStation Online got shut down a couple years ago. They're just hitting it. It's like when the Obama government website couldn't keep up with everybody applying on it and it shut it down. That's what he did to my internet connection that night. We got in a mouth fight. The night I bested him in mouth fight.
Mouth fight. So how do you know it was him though?
Because he threatened it. I said, do it. And the next morning I woke up to my internet provider was shut down. I needed to change up all my security passwords and stuff. And that only happens when something like that goes down. Because he's sitting, I have the video I can republic. He's going, just stay online. He's sitting in the dark and you can tell it's probably musty and smelly. It's like a hippie dark with lava lamps. And he's looking up at his screen. Hey, you asked the story. He's all sitting back like a rat blood with his stomach up. He's going, just stay online, just keep talking, Tom. And I do. He says keep talking, and I do. And he says he's going to DDS strike me. I said do it. And he says, well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I said do it. And he goes, I'll do it when I feel like it. Next, I got off that show, went to bed, woke up to my fucking router and shit was all stalled out, and he had done it. And that's why he's mad that I narked him out, because he knows he did it.
So you want to be careful with. I mean, if he can shut you down.
No. He ain't. That's all he can do. That's baby hacker stuff. It's like all he can do is get himself in trouble. There's nothing like, ooh, Axis rat blood about it. It's like, oh, kids know how to do that. Halo gamers know how to do that. And he thinks he's sitting there like, I'm Axis fucking rat blood. I'm Axis fucking rat blood. And he's just mad because London, you were a host and a creator before me. I never could imagine off my low level that people just blow up your email, you know? And I missed him. I didn't get right to an email he sent me about having me on the list for some show his daughter was doing here in Denver. And by the time I ever saw it and got to him, he was already mad. And that's what started the whole thing. He's a punk. I'm not worried about him. I ain't gonna shut him down on your show, but he's just a bunch of talk like that unslavic one.
No, far from the unslavic one. Mm-mm.
Yeah, but I'm out here wrecking my opposition. That's all I'm saying.
Tommy, are you seeing mic in your hand? For real?
Dude, this my boy Gleek. He makes the best bad microphones, bro. You should hook him up. Oh shit. That's a chopstick. That's a chopstick up to my microphone. And since my dog ripped a portion of my bed foam off, I was like, I'll make it the bad mic foam. How does the sound come through?
Good.
It comes through pretty well.
It's good. For me. What?
You know what? I think I'm going to have to because we always have trouble with where I live in England. It's always windy because I live by the sea, and we always have issues with it's like the furry mic thing, but you're just using a bit of foam from your sofa.
That's what they're all from. It's just that's the pop. It's stopping that pop.
I like it.
And then where's my other thing? It's like this is the same thing on a microphone. This is the same thing on a microphone holder. It's just because you be talking through this. It's just stopping that initial wind of your breath. Pop, pop, pop. But even this gets like corroded in all the crap I spit out of my mouth when I'm screaming at people.
You got that alien saliva.
Or I'm usually like eating. And don't get me wrong, I eventually go and like alcohol wipe down all my devices. But this is why I like the mic, because when I'm shouting into my phone, it like starts to form like the spit crustation of me, Alex. Well, everybody does it and it'll build up over time. So eventually I'm going to Alex Jones like, you can't stop us. We're a human species. We're the human being. You know, like I'm raging out. And then before you know it, the lower part of my phone starts getting all speckled.
Tommy, is that a Bluetooth microphone then?
What?
Is that a Bluetooth microphone?
No, it's wired. So my boy Gleek, he makes the best bad microphones. It's plugged into my phone that I'm talking through.
I like it. That's good. Lo-fi.
And really, it's just one of those It's just one of those mics you could clip to your collar. I just put it on a chopstick and put this foam thing. And it did come with a foam thing on it that always falls off, so I made this one.
He's innovative and innovative. He's good.
Can I make a
Tommy?
threat?
You're looking well anyway.
I'm trying, man. It's rough. I mean, I'm telling everybody, I'm not surprised if it's rough where you are. My apartment complex is full of bust-in people. The city of Denver is trying to ask these people to go to Chicago or New York. We don't have money for anybody. Everything's going to shit. It's crazy. It's crazy out here.
It's the same here, mate. It's the same here. You can't.
No, it's everywhere. They're crashing this world. They're crashing the world like Bane. They're crashing this world plane like Bane.
The great fucking great woke agenda.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find the easiest way to describe on one of my shows one night is how whether you oppose it properly or you want to go with it, there's no decision you can be. It's so ingenious at this level of game. Any position you want to be in, even if rightfully so, you are being funneled into the only possible outcome, which is what they want. Of this 100, we're in that 100 and odd year collapse of the superpowers to go into the new way. We are starting it's a reset of big proportions, a sort of great reset, if you will, going on. Oh, and like I was telling London on the other show, it blows my mind. We've all been talking about this coming, and now that it's here and so apparent as ever, people are like, "What's going on?" in the truther community. It's crazy.
Yeah, there is
Manny,
yeah.
this is one for you.
Sorry. Go on.
It's not the same one. That's the Osiris eye, yeah. Or the eye of Horus, I guess. I thought he was talking about the one where you're looking up from underneath the brain that I was giving you shit about OTW doing like half a year ago, when you like brought out like we do it there. I was like, oh, that's the one. And then I made fun of him like I was the Jesus where he's going, this is Jesus. And Lou Bass is like, okay, I see it.
Cranial vault, but in other words, the celestial vault. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So the Osiris eye that we're looking at sideways, is that also the thing we're looking at from the bottom up? That they say that's Jesus. You see the robe? You see the hair? You see the robe?
Was Horus Jesus?
Is it a peregrine falcon? That
London called it the man in the. What did you call it, London? You gave it a name.
Man in the head.
What is it?
Yeah, but didn't you give it a dude's name?
Oh, Bow.
Yeah. So from up underneath, that's this Osiris eye we're looking at, right? Or Horus eye.
But that bird on the vault of heaven, is it a peregrine falcon?
Yeah, it's a falcon. It would be Horus.
Oh, Horus.
Horus is a falcon, and he's that Egyptian eye. It would make sense.
Yeah.
So they've all got spirit animals, and
I'm starting to think maybe those animal-headed people and those bird-feeded people were that. I'm thinking maybe that might be the Nephilim half-breeds of fallen angels lying with men or lying with the women of humans. Those Egyptian motherfuckers might have been animal-headed people, because even there's a Catholic saint that they think had a dog head.
Yeah, exactly. On the pantheon, you've got the dog-headed people. So they're called the Canaanites. So it's from
the Canaanites. They're uncircumcised Philistines.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, Tommy, right? So my old moniker before I was Manifesto and Philharmonic and all the other ones was Philly Stein, Philystine, and I looked into it, and I can read this exactly what it means. I always believed that a Philistine meant uncircumcised, but a Philistine does not mean uncircumcised, because in my big Bible,
no, they just were. Yeah, they just were.
It's got
because the opposite side,
names of Phila, and a Philistine actually means a roller, a rapper, a digger, and a searcher. Which is, and I thought it was quite amusing, because I called myself Philistine, and I am actually of the circular bellend type fucking variety from a young age.
Well, Manny, I can always rely on you more than even a word wizard for what's that word when you're going back to the origins of the words? That's your thing, man.
Etymology.
Yeah. I come to you for that. I'd come to you quicker than that word wizard. Is Jack Talcott over here talking shit on you? His title today is like discussing manifestors, creators, leaders. Yeah, I think he's over there talking that shit.
Yeah, that's because the artist formerly known as Manifesta has left the building, and Philharmonic is back in
I get it.
Big time.
I get it. London Philharmonic. I see what you did there. I get it.
Very good, Tommy. Even I'm that one.
I'm a little traveled. I'm a little educated. I see what you did there.
That's good.
I'm picking up what you're doing.
Well, to be honest, I was the whole manifesto thing. Everyone knows me as Manny, and I am a master natural manifester. But the one thing I would like to manifest in my life is being a family and be a dad. It just wasn't happening for me, and I felt like the whole manifesto thing had to fucking go for me to.
Yeah, manifestation it's one of those touchy subjects where I'm like, yes, there's an amount of it I buy into, but not on the sense of you're just going to jack Talcott on your ass and just manifest, and it's just going to rain money on you. I don't buy in all that. I buy into the mental place you need to be in to make a thing happen as part of manifestation, but not this new age bullshit. It's just think it into existence.
Yeah, exactly. And do you know what? That's another reason why I had to fuck it off, because I have never, ever purposely tried to manifest anything. I look into something I'd like the look of, or think, oh, mine one of them, and then give it a half an hour to an hour sort of looking on the internet, and then put it to bed, and the next day it will appear in what you call a thrift store, or at the side of the road, or on the beach. As I turn around, there's just one there randomly. But the one thing I will say about manifest is it's like the buzzword, oh, manifest. But actually, it's just lazy trying to get something for nothing, you know.
Very
Whereas
Talcottian,
I personally think to manifest something, you actually have to go out and, like, when you see something for your friend that your friend might like in a thrift store, charity shop, something that's only a couple of pounds, it's not going to make a major difference to you, but you buy it for them to not gain anything, but just because you know it might help them on their journey, you know, little things like that will help these things happen quicker, rather than being like, oh, I tried to manifest it. It's like, what?
I gotta address
like
my
the opposite.
Chev, boom in the shot. Chev, boom in the shot. Chev, boom. Thank you, boom in the shot. Thank you, Chev. Go on. It's free producer. He sucks.
Hold on. Did the script.
Chev.
The purpose of this video is to show you what I believe is the best way to deal with a delusional, deranged, narcissistic bully. In this video, TSM joins Nachiketa panel, and when given the opportunity to speak, he repeatedly insults him. However, Nachiketa is not triggered, upset, or angry as a result, so he can show TSM true colors without lowering himself to his level.
I'm going to bring somebody on, and it may or may not cause some drama, but I feel that it's important to just bring this person on and see what this person has to say, and then we'll go from there. So give me a second. King Steven, I'm not going to call you King, but Steven, what's up? Why did you choose to come on this channel, and what is your purpose here?
Oh, hey there, Notch. Thanks for having me on. You can call me King Steven. You actually did call me King Steven, but I came on here just to ask a few questions.
Boom!
When you were on my channel, you came on one morning when I had been running my live stream for, I don't know, it must have been 20 hours or longer at that point, running a stream. And you hopped on and I had you on and I answered your questions. It was very polite and cordial. But since then, you've been bashing me all over YouTube. So I'm wondering what your purpose is. Like, why are you doing that? I came on here to ask you that and to clear the air. So
it's just the way you have been conducting yourself. Let me finish.
Okay.
And then, like, when you were over at Flow States, as an example, you know, you had all these bots from India that came on, and you know, like Demon Slayer made a video about it.
That was quite the day.
I don't know whether or not that is under your control or not.
Just then.
And look at what's going on in the chat. We have a bunch of people here. Rashma Ambuja, right?
I saw that day. I remember this. I saw that day.
Mustafa, okay? They're all telling everybody to join the Sanity Machine channel. I cannot believe
Paul's your daddy. They're all saying Paul's your daddy. Who did they come from?
To me, it's like a shit that's going on, you know? Like you pay a company off and then, you know, hey, go and, you know, harass this channel with, you know, all your stock accounts. Let's go check out one of these channels. Oh, well, no subscribers. And there's nothing there. Well, that's a surprise. Let's take a look at another one. Shravanti Vinoda. Let's go to your channel. Do you have any subs? Nope. Another no sub, no content channel. Okay.
That's not nice. It's like calling it non-content.
Agashri. Oh, well, that's a surprise. No subs and no content. Seems to be a pattern going on here.
How obnoxious, Nachikita. You're usually so polite.
Whatsoever with these
busting on channels.
Over here.
They're
not like Nachikita enslaved over here.
You have an issue with me, dude. I want to know what your issue is with me personally.
I never
respectable.
You're here to cause drama. That's fine. If you want to clear the air, I want to know what your issue was with me, because you called me you said quote unquote, he's just a skinny Asian guy, and then you saw me on a video or something like this, and you're talking to about me. So what? Like, why should I have anything to do with you?
Well, you got a big mouth. You said something about how you could beat me up or something. Like you're fucking out of it. You got issues.
Okay.
You got issues.
I think I'm quickly becoming Sanity Machine's biggest fan. Like all Soul Trap aside, I think I'm his biggest fan.
A big fucking mouth.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I won't be able to beat you.
You got a big mouth. You got a big mouth. So now's your chance to apologize. Or keep it going. It's one or the other.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you warrant any apology from me. You're the one who said. You're the one who said.
Martin, this is good. This is good. We got to do this thing where he wrecks CBO in CBO's house. I see a little bit of that in this interaction.
Insults, immaturity, stupidity.
Skinny Asian guy, and I said, hey, I probably maybe to be able to beat you up, but
you're a loser. You couldn't beat anybody up, beta boy. You're a soy boy. Loser. You're just a loser.
Dude, it's like...
Is that your final words, Steven?
You had a chance. Last chance.
All right. I appreciate you coming out. And see you later.
Yeah, I'll see you.
Okay, great. Okay. Take care, man.
Fuckhead.
Yes. Very interesting.
Loser.
To come on this panel and then to want to clear the air, but has
gotta see the CBO thing, man. You gotta see the CBO thing.
Well, what to do?
He couldn't own up to what he did. He couldn't own it.
Man, you completely outmaneuvered him.
Not at all.
You didn't like get triggered at all. It's like, it's crazy, isn't it?
Chev, boom.
Time you saw a 50-year-old
boom, ass. Boom in the shot.
The last time someone approached me because I spoke behind their back was in high school. He joins a panel because Nachiketa talked about him on
that Black Joker?
Asks him to apologize. When he refuses, he insults him and threatens to put him on his radar. I mean, I'm sure TSM is possessed by a 12-year-old.
How did you get the guy from the Eminem video?
research with the way he conducts himself
not
on the
me.
internet.
Who's
Given
that
his
voice? Is that an
One
AI?
thing,
newcomer is
Someone
likely
else.
to believe this research is for
one thing,
insane.
London man.
Hold on,
When
pause it, London.
talk
Pause it.
about when we talk about Wren, Christopher Wren was one of the architects
Oh my
of
God, he's
the
word with
of the new London, as it were, after the Great Fire of London. He was also a major player in the architects for the new world.
Was the Great Fire of London? Was the Great Fire of London that Guy Fawkes thing?
No, Guy
Okay.
Fawkes. Guy Fawkes was basically a James the First
He was a
of
hacker. He was a
England
hacker. I know.
and the Sixth of Scotland was due to be coronated, and he was Protestant, and the Catholics didn't want him to become king because he would basically cause such even more harsh times for Catholics. So they tried to fucking blow up the Houses of Parliament when he was going to be sworn in as the king. And Guy Fawkes, he was a Spanish guy named Guido Fawkes. He tried to blow up from underneath the Houses of Parliament, got caught.
Vendetta, yeah.
So the bonfire night or Guy Fawkes has been celebrated every year on the 5th of November because
the movie with
you
the
know,
Smith. Yeah, and he's like, it's the smell.
Yeah,
Gotta
boom.
take out this patriarchy. It's the smell.
So really he was trying to, do what most people talk about doing, blow up the enemy, so to speak.
Did he really burn himself up in it? Did he burn himself up in it like in the movie?
He got caught, and he was hung, drawn, and quartered for fucking trying to do it. He was
and V for Vendetta, the guy's like imitating him. Yeah, I'm fucking retarded. I'm retarded.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
there you go. So that's something you know what I'm about.
They show it when he's telling the story of Guy Fawkes. They show the guy doing it. The movie's about Agent Smith in the Matrix redoing the Guy Fawkes story. Yeah.
Yeah, and also an interesting thing about V for Vendetta, and also that whole movement. What was it called? With that mask. Anonymous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole Jesuit type fucking usurp of any truth movement. If you actually know what the whole scenario with that is,
you don't know.
You know, there's a serious agenda that most people hadn't ever understood or realized. But once again, it's a massive fucking psyop.
No, it can't be a psyop. It's just a natural thing because they're all out there anonymous, and some of them are against each other and don't even realize that their intentions and their purpose that they're working anonymously are working against another anonymous. And like memes and the evolution of memes, we hope to think the longevity will be based off doing the right side, the truth thing. With like the way memes, you could make a bullshit meme. I could make one of Manny going, "Where's the beef?" And it's like nobody gets it. It's not a thing, and it won't thrive and exist as a meme. But if you make something that says like "Let's go, Brandon," that shit fucking you could probably still say it. People go, "Woo, woo, let's go, Brandon."
Well, the thing is with memes, it's like I was just talking earlier on a different thing. We're talking about humor and how laughter is like a healing thing, and also
we're
these
killing
people.
Thing. You fucking laugh at me while I'm fucking with my pants down and like head down in a trash can full of bees. That laughter is gonna make me your Joker. It's gonna make me the school Joker when I get pantsed and my head's down in a trash can full of bees and jocks are beating me up. That laughter's not healing. That laughter's gonna have me be like, what you laughing at my trench coat for now, fool? You know?
There's a difference between laughter because it's a naturally amusing thing, and then laughter which is directed at someone's like poor fortune. That's just like bullying. People, it's like people. I love it. It's my favorite put down is when a miserable woman or man goes, "They're laughing at you, not with you," and I'm like, "Well, thank for that. Somebody's laughing, and that's all I want." And what are you offering here?
Oh, but before we get off it, Manny, Hold on, before we get out, London, I'm seeing this thing in Sanity Machine. The way I think he's doing the over the top thing, like the King Stephen, and the you just said King Stephen as I came in. Thank you. I think I'm his biggest fan now, and now you have to see this time that he
No
wrecks
way.
CBO. And not in the Soul Trap department, but he's resorting like the way Paul's on the outs, and now Paul is even gonna finally do an interview with Lauren De Laguna. I'm gonna drop her a few clips for that, if you know what I mean. But I think Sanity Machine's like, fuck it, if I can't Soul Trap, I'll go do my passive radio voice troll thing. I'm feeling it. And if I show you this thing about him wrecking CBO, I wonder if he'll show up at one of my panels like he showed up for Nat Chiquita, like, oh, you said I couldn't fight? You said you could beat me up? Well, we're gonna show whenever he wrecks CBO in his own house. Like I'm about to wreck promo plug, like I'm about to wreck random fan Sean Osborne on his mud flood tonight. Sean Osborne, mud flood.
What's going on there? Hold on, what? Talk to me. What do you mean, mud flood?
I invited you in the chat. Bring me up on the screen.
Hold on.
Bring me up on the main promo screen. Oh, Sean Osborne, random fan, and her little Yeti puppet. Tonight we're gonna wreck you on a mud flood mouth fight. Me and Triceratops, we're gonna wreck you and your Yeti on a mud flood mouth fight. You're gonna be like, my mud flood. And I'm gonna be like, my Noah's Ark. And we're gonna go at it. I'm gonna get up in it, boy. Actually, it's like less than 2 hours. I'm probably gonna dip pretty soon. And you have no idea where this warp roulette thing's going, guys. You have no fucking clue. Have you guys ever heard of Joust Swastikot? Still working with it. Joust Swastikot. Klaus Schwab. Schwabstikot. Schwabikot. I'm working with the Jack Schwab. Klaus.
You had the swab test. You had the swab test, then you had the sticker in your arm.
Oh no.
Swab sticker. Yeah.
Hold on. Well, you guys know the Talcott Clips Talsock from 1984. I've got the background ruined billboard of it. Damn it. As soon as this software works for me, I'll show you what I'm talking about. A little pre-sneak peek. They don't know.
One thing I will say, London, about this web, that I'm not saying about it hollow as it being the actual literal meaning of hollow, but one thing I did experience that I've been near where I live. I've been trying to find this one spot for years, which was the view from the hill range where I live to the sea where I actually live, which is perfect level, and they use that level as a like a spirit level for calibrations of instruments. But after I'd been to this place, as I'd gone down to basically get a burger from a burger bar, I was chatting to the guy, and I noticed there was this big fucking quarry that it was saying, keep out, no access, trespassers, la la la. I was chatting to the guy about it, and he goes, oh, it's really fucking weird, that place. He goes, people have been seeing loads of lorries going in with army tanks on the back, going into this thing, and then the tank's not coming out. Now, I fucking thought, hey, what the fuck is all that about? Bearing in mind that I know that these hills are full of like tunnels, and there's loads of theories about hill ranges and whatnot. So I went up to the top, sneaked round, and looked down on this quarry, which has got a massive fucking satellite dish there. Bearing in mind you're talking about a quarry. Quarries are just for extracting rock,
it's
surely.
dudes that like other dudes. I know the queers. It's dudes that like other dudes.
Well, this place has got some fucking major fucking goings on, and tanks were going into this huge shutter doors. Like, I don't know how I can explain. Like, you know, like hangar doors and whatnot you see from army hangars or whatnot. and then not coming back out again. I went up there and looked down on it. I was like, what the
Leave
fuck
it on
is
that
all that
picture.
about?
Leave it on that picture, London.
And I was like, there's definitely something going on underground. I've known about tunnel systems and whatnot for a long, long time. I've been doing work on it for a long time. But this was like wow, they've been taking tanks into the thing, and then the loaders are coming out with nothing on the back. And the tanks are just staying down there. No one's seeing the tanks again.
I've taken logic tests like that. I believe that they're still in there.
Yeah, they
I
are
think
still
that
in
if
there,
you've seen them going, yeah, they've taken them in there and then they didn't. I think the tanks are in there. I can conclude that.
Yeah, I would conclude that as well. But what the fuck?
Now, London,
what
on
the
that
fuck are they
picture.
doing into a?
Oh, your overthrow, your tyrannical overthrow, your willing substrate. I don't know, but this picture you're using, London. No, your willing submission, your willing or unwilling submission at tank point. Like you're an Asian man with 2 bags in your hands, just standing in front of a line of tanks in the highway, and I'm not sure if he got ran over or not. I've been in 2 different dimensions that would apply both outcomes. But this picture you're showing, London, this corresponds with the post-millennial reign theory, because those people are mostly flat earthers, so they think it's North Pole. I believe it to be South Pole, but they are believing that Jesus has already reigned for 1,000 years and he's held out at one of the poles that we might disagree on, and that the world will eventually be led in war against that pole. And if you think about where Tic Tac crafts and things and where we can't go to and explore on our own fruition, I say it's the South Pole that would look like this. The flat earthers that are post-millennial say it's what you're looking at, only it's a flat earth that goes to that North Pole hole, and that's where they think Jesus and the people that ruled with him over the millennia are held out for this Satan's short season. How complicated is that?
Very much so.
You want me to make it more complicated? Give me the screen again.
Oh, you got for me. Let's have a look.
There won't be any sound yet, but give me the screen.
Uh-oh.
Jack Schwabsticott. Schwabsticott. Jack Schwabsticott.
Peace and love, brothers.
We must bring the whole world. And there's like President Schwabsticott if it goes too far.
Okay.
Oh, JB. Oh, Jack Biden. Maybe Jack Biden gets thrown in there too. I'm throwing stuff in the air.
Is Jack Talcott jabbed?
I don't think so, but I wouldn't be surprised. I know I don't even bust Cynthia for it. I mean, I wouldn't have done it, but that's why we're all free. And any of these truthers that are out here bagging on another truther for exercising their freedom, I don't subscribe to that. I might warn or say it's not for me, and here's why I'm not going to do it. But if you do it by your free choice, I'm not going to come out here like a snafu and hate on you for it. I'm just going to watch you closely and see if you come down with some kind of cardiac arrest or blood clots or something. I know my military friend that I used to go shooting with, him and his half-Jew son, they both got the jab, and I never found them to be having any problems. But I think if it was an extermination jab, it was like a lottery. It was like a rando lottery, like that country that got the shipment of jabs, and they're like, there's little aluminum filaments in this. We don't want this. There's little aluminum filaments. It might have been like a random lottery, bug juice, if you will.
I feel like it was, like you say, they said about it being like one.
And you're not going to be able to see this hack war, like the same way that our U.S. election was very much probably hacked. And you'll never see that it was hacked. Same with these boats. Even though a lot of boats hit a lot of bridges all the time in the world, because it just happens. And that boat that took the one down in Baltimore was a shitty boat, known for being a shitty boat. It's not the first time that boat's ran into something. it could still be a hack and you'd never know. And like, you could sit here and speculate. I think it was a hack, but because it was a hack with both elections and the machines for elections and the machines of a boat, you technically can't prove it and just speculate. And Bear Independent was even like, well, if I was going to hack a boat, I'd have everybody hack a boat to crash into something on the same day. And I say, au contraire, that would be like a statement of war to make. If you just want to cause trouble and not have too much fingers pointing at it, you would just do a boat here and there. But I can get down with this, London. I always told this community, if you just go globe, I'm down with some kind of hollow earth. I do believe there's a liquid hot magma metal ball in the middle that's helping create this two poles of magnetic, electromagnetic force over the planet. But that still leaves room for hollowness before you get to that magma ball, that liquid hot magma ball.
I think that liquid magma ball and all that stuff was just coming from how we would call I think it's the Venus systems.
Well, I think it is a lot of it's molten metal, because I think just like with our different compositions, the periodic table, if it's all melted down, like they're going to coagulate by weight and density. They'll meet up like a lava lamp. So the most dense is probably collected in the center by now of that. It's spinning like a gyro in the opposite direction of the Earth's rotation. And I think a lot of this balance and electromagnetism by the hand of the delicate, all-powerful God is probably like a lot of our setup. The same way on the 8th, you're going to see, yes, the size of the moon and the distance from the sun. It's going to make that eclipse. That's globe-proof eclipse watcher.
What about the idea that the center of the Earth is a crystalline core, rather than it being a molten magma that is?
I think there's miles and miles of possibility of like the type of picture we're looking at now, to where the Tic Tac crafts come from, to all the crystalline, dinosaur-filled, cavernous, like possible things that are under us. But I still think the core is going to be that, because it's like I said, it's that gyro. It's where the magma is spewing out. Once it has to release and let pressure out through a volcano, it's coming from that core somewhere. Because if there is hollow earth, it's not like free range hollow earth where you can just go full like you're on the surface of the earth. There might be huge cavernous openings that are awe-inspiring, but eventually it's going to come back down into the supports of what we're on top of.
Yeah, it's got like finalized somewhere. But there is like literally network of tunnels and systems underneath that it's literally been proved. And the thing is,
I used to crawl around in them. I used to crawl around in some of the easiest ones to get to from the surface. We used to go caving back east. I've been in situations where the rock's touching my back as I'm laying flat on my stomach. I can feel the rock touching my back, and we're just laying there in the dark in a tiny crevice with our lights off. We're just waiting for the guy up front to dig out big enough that he can get the rest of the way through. And we've come up in the cavernous rooms like that. And then you realize, we would have got here through that other loop route right there. But it's still cool to explore like that.
Yeah, I've done caving like that as well, which like. There was one that was known as the Wriggler. It was so tight you'd have to be pulled by your hands and pushed by your feet to
hate that.
Get through it. But
that's the challenge, because I hate it, where you're inhaling to just fit. Like you got to inhale to fit through. Oh, it's sketchy, man.
It is sketchy. In fact, when I've done on a couple of occasions that I was actually quite, because I'm a big guy. Do you know what I mean? I've always been a big lump. Do you know what I mean? I was always. Mm-hmm. I always was like apprehensive and quite worried that I ain't going to get through this. I actually had to have my fellow team work hard for me to get through it. And when you do actually do it, it's a lovely feeling. But it's quite a
We had a friend We had a friend your size that we thought he was definitely stuck. He was starting to get scared. We were actually ready to go, okay, 2 of us will head out, get in the car, and go actually get help. And just before we did that, I said, wait a second. Do you have a fucking flashlight jammed in your belt? And sure enough, we pulled that flashlight out of his belt and he got through, and it saved the fucking day.
Yeah, but there are networks. So they've been, like in Turkey and places like that. They found like massive, huge caverns. They're like I can't describe from floor to ceiling how big these caverns are. But I'm
gonna look up.
massive.
I'm gonna try and find this one. There's one by a name here in America that somebody recently on their channel took a drone down in through the hole. It's fucking crazy. I'll see if I can get the link.
Hey, yeah, I heard something like that. There's a how would you call it? A hole in America that
Oh, there's lots of them. Yeah, they just are caves where there happens to be a hole in the roof of it that's our surface area.
No, but I know what London means. There's this thing I keep seeing. It's called it begins with M. This hole where it's like a massive sinkhole that's dogs have gone down and shit like that have just they haven't been able to find them again and whatnot. I can't remember what that hole's called. It's got a name. Hey, London, what's that? Go down. Can you just scroll down? What's that one there?
Is it Mel's hole?
It's called. Yeah, there's that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting the link of it here.
What's that thing there with like? It looks like a manhole cover. Yeah, that one you click on there, where it's just going around in a circle there. What's that? Looks like Chalice Well. Oh, is that like the Antikythera mechanism?
Islamic Indian art cell. Oh, I don't know what is it. It doesn't really say what it is, does it? Yeah. It looks like some type of watch device, or no, you know what that might be.
That almost looks like that thing
like they found. Antikythera mechanism, which they were working out there. They even worked out eclipses and whatnot from that thing they found in Greece. It's not that isn't it, but that's a bit like a it's a bit like a sextant or.
No, listen, it's crazy. I'm glad you actually pointed to this because I would have never actually looked at this. I was looking at some stuff to do with the eyes earlier on, right? And they got some devices called the Mendez device. This might be like an older model of it. It's where they pull it on the eye.
And that was the thing that was stuck in stone that it takes too long for us to ration how that could have existed.
What, this?
No, are you saying the thing that it looks like is the thing we found that had natural stone encased over it?
Yeah, that's the Antikythera mechanism that they found when they were diving for sponges in Greece. Yeah. It's basically like a massive calendar, but it was also an astronomical calendar and it could tell you all about what.
Yeah, they thought it might have been to be a seafaring craft because of the way it used the stars. Take that, flatties.
but that
right, it's
that
in the back
thing is like.
Hold on.
That isn't it, but it's something like that.
Right.
It's a mechanism to calibrate.
Yeah.
Well, basically, you know what I just said about we're trying to find this place where they use the sea to calibrate the level of their devices.
You still do that. Well, when you have a little plastic tube that has water with an air bubble in it, you're still using the sea to level. Take that, flatties. Now, London, that link is in the back. You can jump around at your discretion. I haven't watched it yet. It's 27 minutes because it's a news station, but it's that drone that goes down into Mel's hole, and I haven't seen what's down there either.
Put that on.
And it looks like it has 6 arcs where people have most replayed it. And that's just a regular... It looks like it's a hole big enough a car could drive into, but I think it goes like to a very big, epic thing. What the French call a certain I don't know what.
A certain je ne sais quoi, Tommy.
Vous avec moi ce soir.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Oh, I love to curse in the French. It's like wiping your ass with silk.
Even seasoned scientists perplexed. Surrounded by whispers of paranormal activity and government secrecy,
That's my butthole after a big party.
remains elusive.
Yeah.
Join us as we delve
That's my aperture. My aperture's all gaped.
hidden within its dark depths. The endless well in the hills.
Now we know that there's a curve because you can only see down to the bottom at high noon. Take that, flatties.
In the rolling hills, a strange, seemingly endless pit has captured the imagination of many. Known as Mel's Hole, this curious phenomenon has been
Mel gets around. Mel's a slut bong.
KF
Is that what the endoscopy, Tommy?
journey eastward to uncover the truth
What?
behind the enigmatic pit.
The endoscopy on the bottom of your hole.
There it goes. There it goes. And you might not be able to see the bottom at high noon because it might take a few curves. It might not be a straight hole.
The west of a place called Ellensburg, specifically on the Manistash Ridge. It looks like a regular hole in the ground.
Man stash.
Well, but it's not for drawing water. Over the years, it
For
became
drawing the destruction of humankind.
various items were discarded. From household trash to broken machinery and worn out
They dumped a fucking backhoe down there?
Surprisingly, no matter how much was dumped, the hole seemed to never fill up, which made Mel, the property's owner, very curious about its depth and contents. Strange happenings began to unfold around this mysterious pit. Mel noticed that his dogs would steer clear of it, acting as if they were wary or frightened.
Terminators.
Odd, unexplainable signals on his radio.
I just need to point out, when they say fill up, it's not fill it.
Theories about Mel's Hole began
Yeah, like you probably never even heard that backhoe hit. They probably couldn't hear it hit the bottom.
located the hole and decided to investigate further by lowering a camera into its depths. What they saw was beyond belief and so alarming that they were compelled to escape, realizing the potential danger they were in. Join us as we delve into the story of Mel's Hole, uncovering the chilling mysteries and the bold efforts of those who sought to uncover its secrets. The pit, known as Mel's Hole, is not just any ordinary hole. It is a large circular gap about 9 feet across, encircled by a wall made of
That's not. That looks bigger than 9 feet to me.
before giving way to complete darkness. The hole
I think he misspoke because a person can be 6 foot tall. You ain't gonna reach that. You're not gonna hop across that. There's people that can jump 9 feet.
is that there's no sound when things are tossed into the hole, no echoes or any sign that they've reached the bottom, which bewilders everyone.
Someone just
Driven
jumped.
by curiosity and a knack for problem solving, Mel Waters, an avid fisherman, decided to take matters into his own hands. He wanted to
You don't know how to fish. You ain't even dressed right for it. Got them stupid shoes.
How many of those pictures are actually this Mel's Hole?
and began lowering it into the pit. To his astonishment, even after unspooling 4,500 feet of line, the weight had not reached the bottom, leaving the true depth of the hole a bewildering mystery still unsolved. Without giving up, Mel pulled the fishing line back up. This time, he attached a pack of Lifesavers candy to it instead of the heavy weight, hoping he might find water way down in the hole. He let the Lifesavers drop deep down, but when he pulled them back up, they were still completely dry, not a drop of water on them. Undaunted, Mel kept trying. He attached more and more fishing line together, sending it down into the abyss until he had used almost 10,000 feet of line. That's nearly 2 miles straight down.
It's like a gremlin that just catches it and keeps spooling it up so that he thinks the hole keeps going.
8,000 feet of line. That's more than 166 miles. He found nothing. The hole just seemed to go on forever, keeping its secrets hidden away. Mel noticed something else strange during his experiments. His dogs wanted nothing to do with the hole. They would pull back, digging their paws into the ground, refusing to go anywhere near it. It was as if they knew something was wrong, feeling some kind of invisible danger. And it wasn't just the dogs acting weird. The area around the hole was eerily silent, with no birds or insects, although birds would fly over it as if the hole didn't bother them from the air. When Mel talked to his neighbors about this, they all said their dogs acted the same way. And then one neighbor told him a shocking story. This man had recently lost his beloved dog, and in his grief, he had thrown the dog's body into the hole. But a few days later, he saw the same dog, wearing its familiar collar, alive, and
That there cemetery is not for people.
but it acted as if it didn't know him, as if it had come from someplace else, maybe even another world. Could that really
H.
be
Barry's
true?
his own.
It sounded like something out of a science fiction story. With all these
The
strange
Stephen King story.
depth of the hole, Mel felt overwhelmed and
You should have
unsure.
lowered the dog down there.
It was
I
1997.
mean, it was dead. If I could get my doggy back from throwing his dead body down a Thanos cliff, I'd probably do it.
Coast AMEM with host Art Bell. Art's show was famous for exploring the mysterious and the paranormal.
I already did a bit. If it's my dog and Sherelle Snow, you see that wide shot of the cliff and Sherelle just goes flying over.
Maybe they could help make sense of the bottom.
Good boy. I wouldn't throw you over the cliff.
Tommy, you're out of pocket there, Tommy.
Huh?
Out of interest, how much reel is on a normal fishing reel?
Oh, it depends, but it's a lot. And if he was adding more spools, I thought they were going to take a drone down the damn thing. You ought to jump further ahead. I thought they were dropping a drone down it. Because at least a drone would know if you. Most drones these days, once they go out of your range or their power's about to run out, they'll just auto return to where you started.
Yeah, they do that. But the thing is, that's a lot. That's a big fucking hole.
It is. It is a lot.
It's interesting.
It's almost like a space laser just shot down through the earth rather than it dug out by anything.
Darkens with government involvement and deeper mysteries on a popular radio show. Chapter 2, Mel and the Military Secret.
Okay, now it looks 9 foot. Whenever they just showed it without people around, I was like, that looks like it's a 1/4 mile across.
In the hidden
See, that looks huge. That looks like it's a cavernous thing.
21st of February in the year 1997, something big happened for Mel. He decided to share his story with Art Bell, a well-known radio host who loved talking about mysteries. Mel sent a message to Art, and not long after, they had a phone chat. That conversation was the start of something huge. Suddenly, everyone everywhere was talking about Mel's mysterious hole. Over a few radio programs, Mel shared more and more about his deep, strange hole. People from all corners of the globe listened and gave Mel tips. They suggested he use special light beams called
Put a
lasers.
salve on it.
The hole went, or try radar, which can see through the ground. But sharing his story had a big downside. Now the whole world knew about the hole, all because Mel had talked about it on the radio. He gave away
Ooh, London, the whole world.
next day.
The whole world.
He found he couldn't get it. The United
Huh?
States military had found out about
In
the
the
hole
earth.
and had taken over.
The holy AI book.
The whole world.
On the radio show on Friday night,
It is
he noticed helicopters buzzing over his land, and they didn't stop the next day. Mel had also mentioned that the hole seemed to change the world around it. Animals didn't,
Hollow Earth.
but plants seemed to do really well near it.
See, that must be a different cavern right there. The one that shows the guy ziplining into. That's not no 9 foot hole.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that one, right, what they just showed with the guy, I think that's in the Middle East.
Okay. Yeah, because there's probably a bunch of holes like that that go down into big cavernous shit.
Yeah, definitely.
And there is one. It's not too deep. I used to have a background or a screensaver of one. I mean, it's definitely you're not going to jump up or climb back out. But there's a picture of like a World War I or a World War II tank had fell through the earth and made the hole, and it's like in a cave, and the light shines down from that hole onto the tank that's underground from falling through. I've seen that picture before.
Because there's that one on Oak Island. They were going down and down and down and down. Because basically, you know, when they drill for oil, they call them roughnecks, don't they? And they constantly they add more fucking drill down on again, keep going till they hit the seam.
Yeah. Even for water, they do that. Yeah. You just keep adding more that pole that's driving the drill down.
You can't call them poles anymore, Tommy. You got to call
I
them
wasn't a well driller. But I mean, yeah, you're adding that next link that extends it further to keep digging.
Yo, diggity, no doubt.
What they knew. An old neighbor said that a long time ago, there used to be big stone pillars around the hole. Listeners warned Mel that talking on the radio might not be so smart because the government could be listening. At the end of the show, Mel said he'd come back to share more news. But when it was time for him to appear again, he was nowhere to be found. He didn't answer his phone or anything. Then a TV crew decided to go to Ellensburg to check things out for themselves. But when they got there, they couldn't find any hole. What they did find, though, were a bunch of military plans and information that made it pretty clear that the military had been there, or maybe they still were. It would be 3 whole years before Mel would say that someone offered him a huge amount of money, like $3 million every year, just to let them use his land. But there was a big condition. He had to agree not to talk about it, pack his bags, leave the United States right away, and promise never to come back. Mel decided to accept
to drop a line over 10,000 feet, you'd have to have a hell of a fucking weight on it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, what's his name? S said something about an offshore fish reel holds 1,000 yards of line.
So that's one spool.
1,000 yards, he said.
What does that work out to be? I don't know what the correlation of offshore fishing reel holds 1,000 yards. So what's 1,000 yards in feet? Because he said 10,000 feet, didn't he? It's just fucking loads. That's bloody awful that we don't know that, but on metric.
I'm not a fisherman, so.
Yeah. They decided to leave the sheep down in the hole for about half an hour. When they pulled the box back up, everything looked just the same at first. But when they checked the sheep more closely, they found
a yard is 3 feet. As the current American, yard is 3 feet.
They felt like they were dealing with something really big, almost holy. The Basque people, who know a lot about sheep, decided to open up the sheep to see what had happened inside. What they found was really scary and weird. The inside of the sheep was like it had been cooked, and there was this huge lump, a tumor that took up most of the space inside it. And then things got even weirder. The tumor started moving all on its own. Everyone was so surprised and didn't know what to think. They decided to cut the tumor open to see what was inside. And inside there was something that looked like a baby seal, but not exactly. It was connected to the tumor like a baby to its mom, with an umbilical cord. But the eyes, those were human eyes. This seal-like thing, after they found it, moved to the edge of the table on its own. Mel felt like it wanted to go back to the hole, so he picked it up, even though it was really slimy and smelled strange, like the air after a big storm, and put it near the hole. They all just watched each other for a couple of hours. Then suddenly, the seal...
At this point, this is all hearsay speculation.
Now, before all this happened in Nevada, Mel was very sick.
One of those.
The doctors told him he had a serious type of cancer in his throat.
How do you call it? Goosebump story.
But after he came back from this incredible adventure, something amazing happened. He wasn't sick anymore. He felt better than he had in a long time. Mel believed that somehow, meeting that...
Like, we have all this footage of the hole, let's say anything we want around it with no pictures, no proof, just YouTube stuff.
Like he had stepped into a whole different world and come back a new person. As the episode of the radio show wrapped up, a serious caution was shared with everyone listening. The road to where Mel's mysterious hole was located was still out there, real and accessible. But there was a stern warning for all. Don't try to go there.
Cheers. I'll stay far away from that. Mel's hole.
Sorry for my ignorance, but how many yards is 10,000 feet? So 1 yard's 3 feet. So 30,000 feet is 10,000 yards. So 10,000 feet is 10,000.
Give or take.
10,000 yards.
Alki in the building. What's going on, Alki?
It would vary, but it's mostly in threes, like a yard and a meter or slightly off.
It's amazing how, like, imperial symmetric can flummox you.
30,048 meters.
What is? 10,000 feet in yards. Oh, God. 3,048 meters is 10,000 feet.
Well, this is the credit we have to give NASA and science, because some countries do their space program in metric, and America does it in, what do you call it, the
Imperial.
Imperial, and they have to match up. When your electronics speak to our electronics, it has to all work out and match up. And I wish America would have just went metric so we could all just be on that smooth. I'd rather have learned things in tens in a metric style.
How big is Mount Everest? How many thousand meters?
How big is what?
Mount Everest.
Oh, I don't know.
Sam, have a look how many meters Mount Everest is. Let's have a token. Just 1 second, sorry.
But I gotta break out. I'm gonna come up. I gotta walk my dog and stuff. But London, if you're wrapped up or if you just want to restream, if Sean shows up and we get in a mud flood mouth fight, more than welcome to come get down.
Hey, there you go.
Mostly he wants to talk his mud flood stuff and he wants me to just keep him focused, but I'm sure I'll turn it into something hostile. Deuces.
I'm sure of it too. Peace out. Wow.
What a shame. This is the rebuttal bar. I thought you had enough etiquette to be able to allow me to respond, and that disruptor would have stuck around. I'm very disappointed. This is the rebuttal bar, I just noticed.
This is the rebuttal bar. Could have stopped him on his way out if you wanted to talk to him. I didn't think you want to talk to him.
Well, I was going to address his falsifications, but, you know, I guess I'll do that on another platform because I got enough respect for this platform not to drag it here. But I was going to address him and it.
I'll tell you what, one thing, London man, you know what I'm about, all about the Holy Grail and whatnot. Well, I was listening to Randall Carlson's talk, and it was a few years back, which they replayed again, and he explains that the Grail actually means crater.
Yeah, I've said this.
Oh, sorry, I didn't. I thought wasn't sure if I'd heard you say it or someone else, but it's all connected as a metaphor rather than a literal cup holding the blood. But I didn't know if you heard that. Sorry, I wasn't.
Now keep going, please. Keep going. I want to hear more. But I did tie that in before. You know, the grill with the cup and the crater and the how would you call it? What's those?
It's like a bowl.
Menorah. You know, like the menorah as well.
It's like a bowl, basically. Rather than a cup or a goblet, it's more like a fruit bowl, I guess. How it breaks down to, rather than being a cup or a wine glass or goblet, it's actually like a bowl, and then it's the same as a crater, and the whole what's the word, like allegory of it is way much more than knights on a quest with a cup. It's very much cosmic. And Randall Carlson, his I think it's called what's it called? His channel. It's quite old, the talk he done about it, but because he's talking about the Grail and talking about Glastonbury, and obviously I'm very much interested in the whole way of where I live being connected to it. It's fascinating. It's a few long lectures, but they all interlink. And when I heard about it, I was like, yes, there we go. We've got some crossover now.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, please carry on.
If it's of any interest to you, London, I grew up by Mammoth Cave. I was raised in Liberty, Kentucky, and Mammoth Cave has miles and miles of cave that has yet to be explored, and it's one of the largest earth openings in the U.S. And I got fortunate enough to be there a couple of times and see this massive cave. And I think maybe a little research on that might be due diligence.
Hold on, your volume's going. Come closer to the mic.
All right, you might have to turn me up, London.
Hold on, let me tell. Oh yeah, because this is a new account, right? Oh,
No,
yes.
no, it's not a new account.
But didn't you come in on another one before, a second ago?
That's a monitor. It's cool.
You're up now, anyway.
Right. What I was saying is, I grew up in Liberty, Kentucky, and I was real close to Mammoth Cave, which is one of the largest earth openings in the United States. Actually, it's one of the largest earth openings in the world. I was fortunate enough to be there. And there's miles of unexplored and unseen cave tunnels and networks that are massive, and they have yet to determine exactly how far this thing goes. And if anybody's interested in caverns and the before mentioned, might want to check into Mammoth Cave.
Is that the one Stellium 7 was covering?
I'm not sure. I didn't see. The only thing that I can lay down as fact is I grew up and it was very close, Mammoth Cave, Kentucky, and I was fortunate enough to go there. I've been to Rock City, which is a complete amusement center in eastern Tennessee that's built underground, and it's got the remnants of probably a megalithic society built that you can still see to this day. These caves were occupied at one time, and the Mammoth Cave was by the natives, and the heritage there said that it led to the underworld.
So there's the teachings about the ant people of the native people in America. I think.
Yeah, that's west. That's much further west in the Hopi and Navajo nations. I was in my father's nation, Eastern Band Cherokee.
What about the Lovelock Caves? Have you heard of them?
I've heard of them. I have not been to them. When I was younger, I had resources and we'd go on vacation, and it was always to some kind of spot like that. And at the time, it was a childhood, just kind of amusement. But now that I'm older, they have a much more profound significance.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I used to go like on places with my dad, and Dad would take forever to walk around the museums and whatnot, and he'd read everything. But and I used to be like, as a kid, because your dad's taking forever. But actually, you miss out on so much as a child because it's not important to you. You just want to get out of there and get on to what the sort of things you want to do. But what I want to ask you was, this Mammoth Cave did you say it was in Kentucky? Yeah. So
Rock City is in.
Sorry.
That's all right. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Kentucky, the state, yeah.
Yes, it's a state, and it's actually next to Tennessee, and eastern Tennessee is where Rock City is, which is another bunch of caverns that's a little bit smaller, but still holds, profound significance. There's Ruby Falls. It's in, I believe that's in central Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. And that's a massive waterway of fresh water through a cave that comes down about, I'm going to say, maybe 400 foot and drops into the cave, into a stream that runs through the cave. And they built walkways where you can go all the way into the cave, and they have it lit up where the waterfall is coming in. It is a massive, beautiful sight.
So I got a question for you. Like I said before, I'm from part of England called Somerset, and I know for a fact in Kentucky there's a Somerset County, and we've got all sorts of megalithic, and not only my bloody internet's going around. What a cunt. Not only like megalithic, but mounds, and I'm absolutely sure it's the same. It's the same people. The mound sort of civilization, or the mound sort of people. It's the same over it. Well, you've got vast amounts of mounds and whatnot. Obviously, in England, it's a more micro version compared to the huge expanses of the States. But in that Somerset County, is there loads of stuff there? I mean, I just always wonder the significance of naming stuff of the people that were in America, why they would name, rather than because they came from that area and they named it because that's where they came from. Did they not rather name something because it was very much like or reminded them of the places in the UK?
You know, I haven't ever been to Somerset, and it wasn't ever on, available agenda to me. But I do live, speaking of mounds, about 50 miles from the Ohio Snake Mound.
Yes.
It's an easy jaunt for me. And Indiana, is we got Kentucky and you got Ohio, and both of them have incredible mounds, megalithic structures, cave systems. The whole place is eat up with a lot of ancient heritage and information if you know how to read it. Kind of like your Salisbury Hill, or you've got the Stonehenge over there, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
It's profound.
Frequency, but your ear has filaments to hear the resonance.
They do.
To hear the frequency.
Yeah.
So would that not depend on your ears?
Anyhow, London, I didn't mean to disrupt your show. Brother.
Sorry, guys. I want to ask you something there. I was hijacked for 1 second, but
sorry for being rude, but I was like,
so Silbury Hill, this is about Salisbury Hill. Well, Silbury Hill is another place which is not too far from Salisbury Hill, and Silbury Hill has been proved that it's the largest step pyramid in Europe. And everyone just thinks it's a mound or a hill, but actually they've done extensive archaeological work, and it's proved that Silbury Hill is a step pyramid. Now, where I live in Somerset, there's got to be 10 to 15 of these hills, and I know for a fact, because I've done one myself, that they're all built as well. And it's like the whole Atlantis thing. Because obviously we don't know the full extent of what Atlantis was, or the whole groundwork of Atlantis in its entirety, but it would have been a lot easier to hop across and to connect to America from Europe, and especially from the British Isles. So I think it's the same people.
It seems that there is a correlation between a lot of the mounds and megaliths that are in British Isles and further east and America, and the parallels between them are just undeniably the same. So Salisbury Hill has always been an interest of mine. Not so much Stonehenge, but yeah, and to find out there's a pyramid there, that's even more fascinating to me, because they don't really let people know, but the whole surface of the earth is covered with pyramids. From the Arctic all the way to Egypt, and even you know, South America, you have some of the most beautiful, massive pyramids that are the same kind of build and structure and geometry as what they have in Cairo and even in China, you know, and various other places. There was obviously communication with the one particular civilization that had interaction with each other. There's no other way around it. But anyhow, London, we're echoing.
Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm going to drop off, brother. I didn't mean to disrupt the show, but you know, I was going to at least give my rebuttal, and I'll save it for a better time. Thanks for having me, London. Hope all is well, and I'd like to talk to you soon. And your guests and the chat, I appreciate you all. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the time.
Thanks for coming up, man.
Absolutely. Take care, London.
Much love. Peace out, Access.
Sorry, London, I didn't mean to fry everyone's brains there. It's just that when you can talk to someone who literally... Oh. Hello?
Yeah.
I'm losing it. Oh. I keep losing connection. When someone's literally there and can tell you what it's like, it's very difficult to get that chance to talk to someone. So sorry about that. Well, I'm losing it.
How come quickly change from that from 50, you know?
I think Manny's reception went, or his credit, however you call it. AI, peace, much love, AI. Big up, Axel. Cheers, Manny. Much respect, much respect. Yeah, what's cracking, man? Anything new? How you lot feeling? How you feeling? We started off with mic check, and here we are now. Have a quick look, see who's live before we hit the road. Oh, Z's live.
We're talking fault lines, gravity, science, pseudoscience. We're talking about that. Chat, what do you think about the flow state and Jack thing and how it should relate to me? I'm actually wanting, chat, I'm wanting to go away from it. I enjoyed the show yesterday, but I don't want to go in on Jack. I don't want to be a problem in Jack's life. So chat, what do you think? Do you want me to just go along with what I'm saying? I don't want to cause pain in Jack's life. I'm just saying it. Flow state, you could be right about every single thing you're saying. Anyway, we'll see the chat.
I've always witnessed Jack to be pretty respectful. His opinion.
He is respectful, but he's bullshit in a lot of ways, and people like Flow State are calling him out on it. I call Jack out on it, but I don't 86 the guy because of it. I tell him he's bullshit in a lot of ways, but in nicer ways.
Well, I mean, all of us, it seems, are very opinionated, which is what makes these channels fun. I mean, if we all share the same opinion, it'd be kind of boring.
You have to be. Like Sarah said, she said, I don't like it, Z. I think Jack has enough on his plate. And, you know, somebody could say, Sarah, well, Jack puts himself out here. We all do. But I'm agreeing with the Sarah perspective. I just don't want to be a part of causing more strife in Jack's life. There's enough things I could talk about. There's things I could do. He's obviously upset about it. So he came on and he expressed his feelings towards me. And a lot of people talking about Coca-Cola and the benefits of Coke over Pepsi.
Yeah, normally I do like Coke. I do like Coke over Pepsi. However, at Costco, they have this Pepsi Cola. It's in a Red Barrel looking can, and it's allegedly made with real sugar. It tastes really good.
Nice. That's one of the reasons why I like these Spanish versions of things, like the Mexican versions, because they often have real sugar, cane sugar.
Exactly. And so Pepsi's a little bit sweeter, and today I'm craving some sugar.
Right.
And I only have Diet Coke, which is blah. But yeah, they say there's a tsunami warning, but I don't think there will be because it doesn't look like it was on the right kind of fault, which creates those large tsunamis like we saw in Japan a few years ago, or 10 years ago now, I guess.
Right. All right. So let's get into this a little bit. So you say you're a scientist. So here's the thing. My position on, the term scientist is anybody could be a scientist. It requires nothing but the ability and the desire to participate in the scientific method.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, so my field is physics, specifically nuclear physics. And I study it because I want to know what exactly we're made of at the subatomic level. How small can we go? We have, there's a big misconception with science that people become scientists and science knows everything. We don't know anything. If science knew everything, then I wouldn't be a scientist. There's nothing to learn. I guess the philosophical reason why I do it is I believe, all of us at some point in our life ask, who am I? Why am I here? What is the purpose of all of this? And there are many ways to answer that. I looked to religion, didn't answer the questions. I still had more questions. And I'm not saying that science is answering those questions, but I feel as if, I'm at least getting closer to it. I'll never get there, but, none of us will ever will. But it's this unsatiable curiosity that humans have. We just want to know, why are things the way they are?
Fair enough. So you and I can agree on that science is a method that we can use to discover the world around us. It's a method to begin an objective pursuit in an effort to understand the world around us in a way that tries to get beyond our own subjectivity and our own bias. So you and I could agree on the importance of science and how science can be used to prove things. If anything could prove a thing, it's science. Would you agree with me on that?
I would agree, but not to get too far in the weeds, there is also that sort of misconception that, science is out to prove things. That's not necessarily true. What science does
Well, we're going to get into that. What is Westworld about? Westworld is about a whole land of androids that are created by man for their own personal desire. This is all funded by corporate America in the series. And they build this world out in the West. It is a Western but it also has some very dramatic themes running through it. This is a screenshot from the introduction of Westworld. And as you can see, these are repeating themes that we've talked about on this channel going back 2 years ago. This is the eye. Now, in this series, this HBO series, they show all of these androids living in Westworld, which is the world underneath the cornea of the eye. Here, as you see it, the land represents the iris of the eye. This is the pupil. There's no mistaking this. And these androids are actually bathed in this fluid, which looks like milk. And this is how they are born into this world. They are born in through the lens of the eye. But the enemy is going to try to twist that. And he does indeed twist this in this series, trying to basically put God down and make us all hate God and think of God as some kind of God who just is using all this for his enjoyment somehow. These are shots again from the introduction of Westworld. We're going to get into what Westworld means. Here's the lens through which these androids are born. Now, at a certain point, these androids begin to become self-aware. They begin to wake up to the amnesia. Yes, the amnesia, which is an analogy for the amniotic fluid in the womb that makes us forget. When we are born into this world, we forget everything. And I believe this is where the fallen angels were imprisoned in the book of Enoch, and this is what they're trying to represent. Let me show you where this is. Believable. This is the book of Enoch, and in it, they talk about, in chapter 66, a place in the west. Yes, a place in the west where there is gold and tin and soft metals, and that these beings, these fallen angels, are buried in the earth in this very location. Chapter 66, let's read a few verses out of this and look at what they were most likely talking about the place in the west where these angels were. And they shall confine those angels who disclosed impiety, which were all the things that the fallen angels taught man. And that burning valley, it is, they shall be confined, which at first my great-grandfather Enoch showed me in the west. This is Westworld, okay? Where there are mountains of gold and silver, of iron, of fluid metal, and tin. I beheld that valley in which there was great perturbation and where the waters were troubled. Now, we had covered this book of Enoch in this verse and talked about these hot springs that have this strong smell of sulfur and that they are fueled by the evil of the fallen angels and the earth beneath them. Okay, this is what fuels these hot springs. And as these angels are released, these fallen angels are released, this prophecy says that in these last days that these springs will grow cold. And it says that these great kings of the Bible will go to these hot springs and it will soothe their soul, but it will destroy their spirit. And it says here, they will undergo a change and they will become frozen, these hot springs. So this is something that we are going to be on the lookout for as we begin to examine future prophecies and future events in this world. Now, in the West world, hell, they are subconsciously running dysfunctional media programs. And this persists throughout the series. They show that these androids get stuck in these pre-written time loops, like programming loops, algorithms, okay? Now, in our present life, in our reality, these algorithms are actually created by pop stars, TV actors, Hollywood. They are the ones that create our behavioral patterns, okay? And we mimic them. They are the Pied Pipers, dictating our pre-programs, our algorithms. And that is what I believe is happening. We run these time loops, these program loops. And at the base of these program loops are drugs, our given personalities that we actually manifest, our identities, our mannerisms, labels that we apply to each other, labels that we label on ourselves, even all the way down to speech patterns. And I believe all this is very real. And I believe they know this. And this is why they create these algorithms for us to run, these programs for us to run. Now, throughout this series, they talk about milk. And they actually show these scenes of milk and human sacrifice. Now, this is another concept that we've talked about extensively, that milk actually meant human sacrifice. And we explained to you why they put missing children on milk cartons, because it was all about sacrifice. Another subscriber came forward in a video that we did showing that the Twin Towers were the exact dimension of a certain size of milk cartons.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local
And then when the people died in those milk cartons, right about that time when the was when they started putting these kids on the milk cartons. Actually, that started back in the 90s, I believe. But we find these odd synchronicities, and also throughout many, many films where they associate death, murder, and sacrifice with milk. It's not just in Westworld, okay? It's in many of these other films. They pour milk out, or milk spills on the floor before someone dies. And if you don't believe me, just go back through horror and thriller movie history, and you will see these patterns persisting. Now, there is the ongoing theme of amnesia. And basically, as each of these androids dies over and over again, they forget. Their brains are wiped. And the theme persists that there is a reincarnative effect going on every time one of these androids is sacrificed in this Disneyland-esque environment. Now here you see basically the center of this actual of the model that they're looking at. This is the scale model of Westworld. This is the inside of underneath the surface of the iris here. They're showing you the iris here, but this is hell. Okay, this is hell. And that's why they depict it in red. And the entire model is backwards. It's inverted. Basically, what you have is the iris, which is Siri backwards. Any of those of you with iPhones or Androids who speak into Siri understand that you're speaking into the iris. Okay, this is where they're collecting the information. And through this pupil, which is the black hole, you enter hell. And this is where these people are. Okay, they are in hell. And this is where Westworld is. It is in hell. And it's all backward because the truth is actually inside the eye. And I'm going to show that to you as well. Here, these are two androids here. And they say, hell is empty and all the devils are here. So they repeat this theme that they're in hell over and over again. Now, again, when these androids are recreated, they are born into this milk substance. Okay. And this also becomes a substance by which they are sacrificed. So death and rebirth occur through this milky continuum. Okay. This milky conduit. This is the scale model of Westworld as their masters, their slave masters are looking down onto this plan of the actual Westworld. And in this portion of the film, the floor falls out from underneath. And you see it clearly that this is the honeycomb matrix. Now, where do we see this on the planet? We see this everywhere. We see it at the Giant's Causeway. We see it in Mammoth, in the Devil's Post Pile. And we also see it at Devil's Tower, I think in Wyoming. These strange hexagonal matrices. These strange hexagonal matrices. These strange hexagonal matrices. Now, you'll notice that this is inverted. And if you were to flip this upside down and look within, instead of looking out through the cornea and the lens of the eye, and if you look within, we have videos showing you that these become the tree stumps, just like the Devil's Tower in Wyoming, the tree stumps that once reached to heaven. Okay. They're depicting basically an inverted tree stump here, is what they're showing us. Okay? And that is the strange thing. So here's your tree stump going inside the eye. And this is looking outside into hell, you see. The robots are forged in the lens, which is underground, which is exactly where the command center is for the Westworld. It's right underneath here. And they go up in these elevators to get to the surface. Okay. And they're forged. They come through the lens, which is underneath the pupil. Remember, if you remember your eye anatomy, you'll remember that the pupil is just above the lens. Here's the eye anatomy, and they are showing Westworld here on the iris. Here's your cornea, and here's the lens beneath. Now, this is where things get very, very interesting. Because not only are they repeating these same themes that we've already talked about long before Westworld was ever even created, we are seeing that these themes are true. We did some videos on the Matrix and what it probably means. There is an epithelial layer just underneath the cornea here. There's also a cross-section of the lens of the eye here. And finally, the cross-section of the actual lining of your interior part of your eye, the rods and cones. And those three structures of the eye, when cross-sectioned, show us the hexagonal matrix. And I want you to let that sink in for a second, because this is deep. It occurs in threes. Here is the corneal endothelium. Okay. This is unbelievable. I believe these were the scales that fell from Saul's eyes in the Bible so he could see, stripped away of the sin. These are the scales of the serpent. This is what we are mixed with that is causing us to see through the.
Now that sounds very familiar. Something stripped away so he could see. To me, that just sounds like somebody getting their cataracts removed, right? Stripped away, right? Getting rid of the mucus, the nucleus, getting rid of all that stuff so you can see.
The lens of the serpent. This is the hex that was put on us.
For those of you who's been to class with us, remember the hexagon shapes? We covered that on the I think it was the Mars and Crater Earth stuff on the McLovin channel with the honeycomb sector. You guys remember that? The honeycomb sector? Right? This looks like that honeycomb sector. Again, very interesting.
Through sin. Now we're going to dig deeper into the show, and I'm going to show you how sin, I believe, represents silicon. And when you take the middle letters out of the word silicon, you will see the word sin. And I'm going to show you how each and every one of us have silicon in our bodies and that we are Westworld. That is what they are depicting. Now, I just showed you the endothelial cornea, which is underneath here. Now I'm going to show you a cross section of the actual lens of your eye, honeycomb matrix. These are the scales.
There you go. You just said it, honeycomb. And that's what I said about Mars, honeycomb sector.
Of the serpent. Now, how could God let this happen? He didn't let it happen. The serpent infected us. Here it is right here. This is a cross section. And it exists as a hexagonal matrix. And last but not least, the devil always does everything in threes, as he infected mankind with.
It's time to wake people up to this deeper history and also our deeper connection with something beyond this world. In some of the Vedic texts, it talks about Vimanas, which was the same flying craft as we find in the Shimanas of Sumer, but this is the Vedic tradition. The commonality here is the word mana. The order has been cataloging these things for the last 1,000 years.
That's wild. Whenever I see the UFO, I know exactly what they're depicting now. All right. Trust me.
The equal armed cross that the Anunnaki used was adopted by the Templars.
And this goes all the way back to being the national symbol, if you will.
His bloodline, the enmity between the seeds talked about in the book of Genesis. In the very beginning, God was already talking about this. Last but not least, the rods and the cones. This lines the inner eye. Lines this entire inner surface of the eye. So we have the three layers, endothelium, lens, and now finally the rods and cones. We have the honeycomb matrix. This is the matrix, you guys.
Yeah.
This is the hex that we're born into. There's only one way out. God tells us, and even though I show people this stunning information, they can't quite get their brain around what has happened to us. We've been corrupted. Now this goes deeper, because what they were showing here is you're looking in from the inside of the eye looking out. Here is your iris. You're in the inside of the eye looking out, and they've cut away everything else. And this is the white picket fence and the lens of the eye. The white picket fence and the lens of the eye that Katy Perry talked about. Are we crazy living our lives through a lens trapped in our white picket fence? Living life through a lens trapped in our white picket fence. You see, the elite know the truth. She talks about living in a bubble in her song, Chained to the Rhythm. Now, what is the chain? The chain is their evil chain that keeps you in this physical reality, that keeps you in Westworld, keeps you in hell. This is what they have you chained to through their Pied Piper. Chained to the rhythm, chained to the melody, chained to the algorithms. Are you starting to understand how they keep you locked in hell? This is hell up here.
Crazy, right? Crazy. Wild, 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 wild. I'm kind of getting the how would you call it? Soul trap type of vibe, right? The way Heavy saying hell, trapped in hell, right? If King Stephen came like this, man, oh man, he'll be blowing people's minds away. But you know, he's not coming like this. Let's keep going.
For you guys, Westworld, the land of the fallen angels. We actually live on the inner surface of the lens, and below us is hell. We actually live in here. This is the looking out into the material realm. This is what deceives you. This is what steals your salvation. You know the two thieves on the cross? You know what that really represented? Your two eyes. The two thieves were the two eyes. And the crossing on the cross was actually the cross of the optic nerves coming in through the middle of your brain. Okay.
Woo! Talk that shit. Talk that shit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what would Jesus be? He'd be the third eye, right? Okay.
Now, as I told you, each of these androids is rendered. It's almost like a 3D rendering device. All right. They show it in the introduction of every episode of Westworld. They show these androids rendered with this white substance, this white milky material, like on a 3D rendering machine. Okay. As they're laid out and onto this lens. Okay. Where all their flesh is added to them. And then they're let go into this world. There is another umbilical cord. And let's first go into what the analogies are of the eye and the womb. The eye and the womb are one and the same. We'll quickly go over the similarities of what this is. There are very similar structures between the womb and the eye. We have the hyaloid canal, which is basically a tether that connects this lens to the optic nerve. It goes all the way through the center of your eye. When you're in the womb, there's an artery that travels through it. Its sole purpose is to nourish and grow the lens of your eye. As soon as you're born, it disappears, just like the umbilical cord. It has the very same function. The function is to connect and nourish the child. Now, if you look here, you will see that the child's crown, he loses his crown once he's born into this physical reality. When a child comes through the womb and through the cervix, they say the child is crowning. When actually the child loses its crown is when it's born into sin, born into this reality. Now, the cervix is down here, and it acts just like
Spiele jetzt War Thunder. Messe dich mit Millionen Spielern in massiven Schlachten auf Panzer.
The iris, opening and closing, allowing the inverted child to pass through into this physical reality. Now, here's what's interesting. When the image comes in through your eye, the light enters your eye, it inverts the image, just like the child is upside down in the womb, okay? You think that these similarities are accidents? No, they're not. This is real. Now, we also have the retina surrounding the eye, okay? And this retina is just like the placenta, also providing nourishment. We also have the amniotic fluid inside, which is just like the vitreous humor inside the eye here. This entire eye is filled with the vitreous humor. The sexual organs of the female anatomy resemble fruit. We did some videos on this. Actually resemble the 3 fruits mentioned in the Bible: pomegranates, figs, and grapes. And those same pomegranate, fig, and grape structures persist inside the inner walls of the eye, kind of matching up with the female anatomy. This is it. They're called bipolar cells, ganglion, rods, and cones. And they, in fact, look like pomegranates, grapes, and figs. And they actually have very similar functions, believe it or not. So this is the fruit of the inner eye, fruitfulness. The true umbilical is the hyaloid canal. It is the narrow gate. What do I mean by that? Well, when you're looking out into this reality, when you're looking out this way, this is the wide gate. The narrow gate is within. It is the hyaloid canal. That is where you will find the truth in the inner structures of the human body that lead you into all truth about God and his Son. And the way out is through the Son. That is the only way to the Father. So when Katy Perry talks about chaining to the rhythm, she's talking about their gate, their dark, evil gate, their umbilical, which tethers us to hell, okay, through this programming. Now, what they call this picket fence-like structure is called the ciliary body. And this is what attaches the lens to the rest of the eye. And it is a white picket fence. So in this series, these androids begin to become self-aware, okay? They begin to understand and remember and not see these other episodes in their life as dreams anymore, but as part of their reality. And this is when they decide to basically turn on their captors and try to find a way out. Now, the series doesn't offer any solutions to escape. Basically, both options are bad options because the androids escaping Westworld would only put them in the real world, which is basically another hell, because they realize how their masters have been treating them. That people come into Westworld and they rape and they pillage and they murder. Okay. So how much better is the world outside of Westworld than inside of Westworld? Okay. And at the very end, here's a spoiler alert. This woman actually leads the rebellion. And at the end, she has an opportunity to escape Westworld. But instead, she chooses to come back and stay in Westworld. In other words, the hell in Westworld, at least these androids are gods in that world because they have everlasting life in Westworld because they just keep repairing them and putting them back in there. And they have superhuman strength, and now they have the ability to think for themselves. Now, here's where things get interesting because I'm going to tie all of this in together. If you're doubting the connection between the womb and the eye, I'm going to prove it to you. Substance called Wharton's jelly. It only in the umbilical cord and the vitreous humor of the eye. I mean, this just blew me away when I discovered this today.
Wow, that's deep. That's very deep. They find the same substance in the eye and the womb. Very interesting. Let's keep going.
This is Wharton's jelly. It is a gelatinous substance that occurs within the umbilical cord and the vitreous humor of the eye. This links the womb with the eye. But more importantly, one of the components of the Wharton's jelly is hyaluronic acid. This substance, hyaluronic acid, occurs naturally in a chicken comb, which is basically the inside of the chicken, the top of a rooster's head. Okay, it's called a chicken comb, and inside of this is hyaluronic acid. It is a natural substance with a high molecular weight that seems to mimic the synovial fluid that is inside of your knee and all of your joints for that matter. This is unbelievable. This is hyaluronic acid, and as you can see here, it is distributed widely throughout the connective, epithelial, and neural tissues. Remember the endothelium of the cornea of the eye? And it is one of the chief components of the extracellular matrix. I'm going to say that again. It is one of the chief components of the extracellular matrix.
Boom. Mic drop. Mic drop, mic drop, mic drop, mic drop. That's wild. That's wild. 420 if you got that.
It is a major component of the skin where it is involved in tissue repair. It is one of the components of cancer. Cancer cannot exist without this hyaluronic acid, but also it is essential in wound repair. It has been used in the synthesis of biological scaffolds for wound healing applications. And finally, skin healing. They actually found less fibrous scarring in the womb, with the fetuses presenting almost no scarring in the womb because of increased levels of hyaluronic acid. And when they removed the hyaluronic acid from the womb, it resulted in fibrotic scarring. In other words, the child in the womb is protected from scarring because of the increased levels of hyaluronic acid. This hyaluronic acid exists in the skin. It exists in the connective tissues of the body. It exists between muscles, helping to lubricate areas of the body. Are you starting to understand what all this means? Are you understanding that the stitching with this white substance coming out, creating and rendering in 3D, connecting these androids together, is probably representing this hyaluronic acid? It says here, hyaluronic acid also contains silicone. And now we begin to understand what we are mixed with. Who they were depicting in Westworld
Hyaluronic acid,
you
silicone makes up this human.
Yes.
Or the android.
Our bodies contain silicone. Silicone is sin. Silicates are sand. This is why in the Bible we're compared to the sands of the sea and the stars. the stars and the sand of the sea. Because we are part.
Do you remember the other day I was touching on sand in the brain? Remember? Yeah. This is why I love coming across stuff that cross references my shit, man. It's epic. It's epic. I love it. That's crazy. Let's keep going.
Silicate. It's kind of like glass. Now, this puts it all in perspective. This is a study looking at the cell matrix of silicone. It says here, the matrix from the valve is covered with nodules corresponding in spacing and hexagonal arrangement. This is exactly what we just showed you in the inner eye, the hexagonal arrangement. This is the intercellular structure of our body. We have the matrix within us. It is the hex, the hexagon, and you're looking at it right here. Can you see the hexagonal matrix? This is characterization and localization of insoluble organic matrices associated with diatomic cell walls. What you're looking at is the structure of cell walls within our bodies. This is silicone, and if you take the letters from the center of this, you have sin. And God said the serpent would be ascribed all the sin in the world would fall on his shoulders. Why would God say that? He would say it because it is true that the serpent seed is responsible for all silicone or all sin in the world. We are Westworld, you guys. We are fodder for the elite, just like it is depicted in the film, in the series Westworld, where they go in and do what thou wilt and kill us. Here they talk about the matrix, a bound form of silicone in glucosaminic glycans and polyuronides. It says here that silicone was found to be a constituent of certain glucosaminoglycans and polyuronides, where it occurs firmly bound to the polysaccharide matrix, firmly bound. They talk about a maze, and it's mentioned throughout the Westworld theme, and it is what everyone's trying to find. The maze represents the looking within to find the answers. See, they tell you in the series where to find the answers. They tell you that the answers are within. They tell you that looking at the inner anatomy of the eye will show you, but they never actually show you the inner anatomy of the eye. They just hint at it. This is how they mock God, right? You guys, the maze is representative of the outer spiral ring of Saturn. The outer ring of Saturn is not a ring at all. It's a spiral. And the maze is the corn.
I'm going to leave that there. It's getting hella late here. That was some good shit. That was some good shit. Don't worry, we're going to pick up where we left off with that. Good stuff. Good stuff. What's going on in Grand Old Chat Room? Who's down there? Show yourself. Who's down there? Mic check, mic check. There you go. Good stuff. So yeah, that's about it for tonight. That's about it for tonight. You ain't gotta go home. But you know. Thanks for tuning in, man. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. There you go. But the ones, yeah, we done a mic test today, so I just wanted to make sure the mic was still running. 1 2 1 2. There you go. So yeah, you know how it goes. Till next time, man. Look after yourself. Love over war. Lay low.
Cause you're the star,